A cold wind rolled across the prairie just before dawn, carrying with it a silence so deep it felt like the land was holding its breath. That silence would be the last peaceful moment before everything changed. Because by sunset, a lone rancher would stand on his porch, staring into a sea of painted faces, 70 Comanche warriors surrounding his home, all of them there for one reason: to take back the girl he had sheltered, and to decide whether he deserved to live. Elias Mercer never imagined he'd begin a morning with blood on his hands, someone else's. He found the girl collapsed near the riverbank, shivering, barely conscious, clutching her torn doeskin dress. Her braids were coming undone, her feet bruised and cut from miles of running. She flinched at every sound, like even the wind frightened her. He knelt beside her slowly, speaking gently, "I won't hurt you. Just let me help." Her dark eyes met his, full of fear, full of pain, but also something else, hope. That single flicker made his chest tighten. That if only he knew what taking her in would cost him. Elias carried the girl inside his cabin as the sky shifted from gray to rose gold. She was light, too light, like she hadn't eaten in days. He set her on the cot beside the fire and wrapped a blanket around her. She mumbled something in Comanche, too weak to speak clearly. He didn't understand her words, but he understood her trembling. He gave her water, warm broth, and let her rest. When her breathing steadied, he finally exhaled, realizing only then how tense he'd been. Hours passed before she woke fully. She sat up too quickly, panic flashing in her eyes. Elias lifted his hands. "Easy. You're safe here." She stared at him, searching his face for danger. He could see the moment she decided to trust him, just a little. "My name." "Naya," she whispered. "Naya," he repeated. "I'm Elias." A storm rolled quietly across the horizon. Naya watched it from the window, fear creeping slowly back into her expression. Elias noticed. "What happened to you?" She hesitated. Then she touched her chest, then pointed east, toward the Comanche lands. "Taken," she said softly. "Ran away." Elias felt the weight of her words like a stone sinking in his gut. Who took her? How far had she run? And how long before someone came looking? Still, he said the only thing he could: "You're safe now." That night, Naya slept peacefully for the first time in days. Elias kept watch, checking the windows, listening to the wind. Something about protecting her felt right, as if fate had set this moment in his path. But fate wasn't finished. Just before dawn, the horses in his corral started screaming. Elias stepped onto his porch, and froze. Across the ridge, shadows appeared one by one. Riders. Many of them. Spears raised. War paint glowing in the first light. Comanche. A single figure rode ahead of the others, taller, broader-shouldered, his posture unmistakably that of a leader. Naya's father. In seconds, they surrounded the house, an unbroken circle of 70 warriors. Elias felt his heartbeat in his throat. This wasn't a rescue, this was judgment. The warriors sat silent on their horses, faces painted with thundercloud colors. Spears glinted like cold fire. Elias slowly raised his hands, stepping off his porch. "I mean no harm," he called, voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. The Comanche chief dismounted. His braids were wrapped with otter fur, eagle feathers rising behind his head like a crown. His eyes, sharp, unreadable, studied Elias long enough to burn a hole through him. Naya appeared at the doorway. Her breath caught. "Father." The chief's face cracked, just for a heartbeat, showing pain only a parent could know. Then the mask returned. He barked a command. 2 warriors stepped forward and took Naya gently by the arms. She didn't resist, but her eyes never left Elias. The chief turned back to him. "You shelter my daughter," he said in broken English. "You protect her when she is lost." Elias nodded. Anyone would have done the same. The chief shook his head. "No. Not anyone." His gaze swept over the cabin, the open land, the lonely rancher standing alone before an army. "You take great risk," he continued. "For a girl not your own." A hush fell over the warriors. Elias swallowed hard. "I didn't know who she was. I only saw someone who needed help." The chief stepped closer, his shadow falling across Elias. my daughter was taken by enemies," he said, voice low with grief. "She escaped. But her spirit was wounded. You gave her shelter. Fire. Food. Safety." He placed a hand over his heart. "For this, I thank you." The tension in Elias's shoulders almost broke him, but the chief wasn't done. "You showed honor. More honor than many of my own people would expect of a white man." His words carried weight, years of bloodshed and mistrust behind them. He lifted his hand, and 70 warriors lowered their spears. The storm inside Elias finally eased. Naya broke free from the warriors and ran to him. "You saved me," she whispered. "I not forget." Her father watched them, unreadable again. "You are welcome in our lands," the chief declared. "Friend of my tribe." Elias didn't expect such a gift, but he felt it change him. Bridging 2 worlds was no small thing. As the Comanche rode away with Naya safely among them, she kept looking back until the horizon swallowed her. The ranch became silent again, only wind and open sky, but nothing felt the same, because Elias Mercer had discovered something unbreakable: compassion. True compassion crosses every boundary, even those drawn in blood and history, and sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change the entire course of 2 nations' stories.